Well, I brought you right back because, you know, sometimes you're an idiot. That's me again. What I didn't take into account is like it needed to be 2 3/4 inches down. Why didn't I just measure this block and then measure this and add that to this, and then guess what? You've got the size. So this block is 1 inch thick. So if it needs to be 2 3/4 to the bottom, add 1 inch to it. So that brings it to 3 3/4. This adapter right now in its location is a 1/4 inch tall, so that brings it exactly 4 inches. So I set it at 4 inches. Don't know if you can see that. And that's how much more I got to go. Probably not even a 1/2 inch, maybe right at it. So I don't know what I was thinking. Well, I was, you know, I was on vacation, so I'm a little slow. You know, that's how it works. Okay, let's go back down in there. Come on. I really don't want to turn it. There we go. All right, here we go. Okay, I actually felt hitting bottom as far down as it would go. So with that said, because it stopped making sounds and not stopped making the right sounds, I guess I should say. Noise. Don't blow my. No, 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 no. No, don't. We're going to do it again once I pull this off there. Now the tapping one takes a different thread. Now I could obviously just take that out and put that in. That's probably what I'll do, but I want to make sure all the stuff's out. Let's make sure she's 4 inch. It's really, really close. Now mind you, if I use the round end, turn this thing around, use the round end, it would probably, because that's kind of how it's tapered. So I'm pretty sure that's how it is. But if that's the case, let's see, because it's got a little bit at the bottom. So you have to take that into account. But with the flat end, that's good enough. So I'm going to call that. I'm going to call that good. Because I could feel, I know it hit bottom. I could feel it hit bottom. All right, now that it's drilled, I'd really like to make sure this thing has absolutely 0 threads in it or any aluminum. Although tapping, you're going to be doing the same. I mean, you know, you're going to have to keep blowing that out, taking it out, blowing all that out. So, all right. Let's get this out of here. I know, you know, I have no idea really what I'm doing. I mean, I do because I've read the instructions, I watched a video on it or whatever, but don't just watch one video. Please don't do that. Sometimes that's just not in your best interest. Everybody has different ways of doing it. Everybody's using a different tool. Everybody is on a different timeline. Everybody, you know, I can keep going. You know what I'm saying? So if those of you first starting out with this, please, please, please make sure that you watch more than just one person's video on it. I mean, some of it's, you know, putting a water pump on. It's kind of self-explanatory. You drain the coolant, you take this off, you take this off. Sometimes one video is fine. Or you get to that point where I just need to know how to get this one thing off, or why isn't this releasing? And sometimes one video, boom, that's it, showing it. Something this important, please make sure you watch more than one video. All right, now, going back to the North Star instructions. Blow metal chips out with a long air nozzle, which I actually have a long one. I may do that. All right. Now, as I've said, there are 2 taps in this set. One of them is a 2 flute, and one is, or excuse me, 3, and the other one is a 4. The 4 is a bottom, and it actually says on there. Maybe it will, and maybe it won't. Let's see if I can get you. There you go. Maybe it's a little bit better. And it actually says 5/8 by 11 bottom tap. 4 flute. You can barely see the 4 on the edge of it, but it actually says bottom. And as I showed you a minute ago on this one, this is, get the light over it, come on. This one is specifically the 3, and it is for the actual cutting. And it says hand tap on it. That's the reason they have 4 instead of round, where you can stick a drill on there. I'm not saying you can't use a drill. I would never do it. So, oh, you know what? I was using this. Now I just read some more instructions. This is not a depth gauge. This is how to put the nut certs in. Ha! This T-tool here. I'm an idiot. What can I say? Hack! Get off YouTube. You're useless. All right. So obviously we need some. I'll make sure that. Are we at the bottom of it? I want to make sure. Yep. All right. We're gonna have to obviously put some. This is where the old tech magic comes in. You know, before I do that, let me get my longer nozzle. Let me make sure that that's, I mean, you know what, I'm going to need it either way, is what I'm saying. So let me step in front of the camera one more time. And hopefully this thing works. This was over at the shop. And it got a lot of moisture in it and doesn't feel bad, but you never know. Alright, I also need either a wrench or a crescent, but I don't want. See if this works. Yeah, a little bit. It doesn't really work the best. Yeah, now I'm deaf. Doesn't work the best when it's got a 45-degree angle at the end of it. All right, let me grab that tap and see if I can get a wrench for this. I'm probably going to need something a little bit more substantial. Where to put it? So I'm not sure how that's. I know I keep walking in front of the camera, guys. I'm sorry. What do we got here? Is it 14 millimeter? Not even close. What else? Oh no! I had a crash. I would say it's 10. Why? Look there. 10 millimeter. $5 there. I got to get a big crescent. Boy, I'm tripping on everything because I had such a mess here. All right. Where we at? There it is. I lost it. A little bit of the tap magic on the threads. It needs to be elsewhere or I'm going to lose the cap on it for sure. Come on, can you sit somewhere? She's a cutting. It's a good idea to use the smallest wrench you can get by with, especially to start. That way you're not putting a tremendous amount of pressure on them. Because even though this is aluminum, if you get this thing bound up and you bust that tap off, you think your life sucked before. I don't know how much to use, but to give me a big bottle. So in this particular case, I bet you $5 more is better than a little. Kind of like go back and forth a bit. This is to make sure you're not binding. To be honest with you, I assume it will hit bottom if it doesn't, you know, if I don't run out of. Like I said, a little's good, a whole lot more is better. In aluminum, it should cut pretty easy. You should not feel a bunch of, you know, if you have to start eating your Wheaties to get this to turn, better double check all your numbers, your measurements, make sure that the drill bit was right for the size. If you're using this tool, make sure it doesn't have a big burr on it or something's out of round or you've managed to get it off somehow by taking this back off, which I probably shouldn't have took it off earlier. but the lineup tool went down a lot further because it was specifically set up for that size. So I'm taking this back out to get the threads, to get all the aluminum shavings out. And I'm not putting much, I can turn it by hand, so I'm not getting carried away here. I'm not hurt. Just that tapping oil. Probably should have some gloves on for this. Again, please, 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 if you're not, don't wear, I actually have safety glasses on. I wear my work glasses most of the time when I'm out here. They don't have side shields on them. I keep them at work. So at least I have something on. It's not ideal. It's a good idea, obviously, to wear all the PPE required when drilling or grinding or welding, or, you know, I shouldn't have to go through this. I'm not a public service announcement for that. I'm just trying to save you from a trip to the old eye doctor to have a piece of metal removed from your eye, because I've had that done a couple of times. The first time was a piece of stainless, excuse me, I think it was, wasn't Inconel, was it? I don't remember if it was Inconel or Monel. You know what? It was Monel, piece of shavings in Monel, which did not really affect me. I just felt like there was a piece of dirt in my eye, you know, at night, and I couldn't get rid of it. Woke up the next morning, you could see it stuck in my eye. I tried flushing it out, well, obviously by leaving it overnight. I didn't really feel it work. I mean, it was hours later that it started bothering me. So I went to the eye doctor, and he reached his little tool in there, and he got it out. I said, okay, that's great. And then it wasn't 2 years later, same eye, same exact place, but this was a piece of steel, a piece of cast iron actually. And pulling it back out, I got a little, what I'm afraid of is the aluminum is going to keep trying to spiral out there and eat some of the threads up I'm putting in, so I'm going to try to pull it out and keep cleaning it up. Anyway, it was a piece of cast iron. I was turning something and in a lathe, got it in there. I had my glasses on, but, you know, again, didn't have my side shields on. It was my fault. And this time, boy, it bothered me a lot of the night. Guess I should have been using this time. This thing isn't putting out much air. Let me go back to this one. So that thing is old. I think I've had that thing for probably 25, 30 years. I feel a little bit better about that. Anyway, so he pulled it out. Same doctor, same eye, same place. He pulls this thing out. He says, man, that went in the same place as last time. I said, yeah, I know it did. And this time, because it was stainless and I left it in overnight, guess what? It was, excuse me, it wasn't stainless. It was carbon steel. It was cast. It actually left a rust spot in my eye where it went in. Left a dent and a rust spot. The other one didn't do that. So, no ill effects, but there's no sense in having to spend half a day. You know, he had to numb my eye and then, you know, pull that out. Then it bothered me. That Monel piece didn't actually bother my eye. I mean, I was back to work, of course, the next day without any issue. I went to work the next day with that one, but it was not right. I mean, it just wasn't right. It literally kind of hurt the whole time. It was sore, just nothing right. So anyway, it's just a good idea to, you know, if you're gonna put the PPE on, put the PPE on, you know, like I'm not doing. And I'm not the safety police. I'm not going to tell you. If I see a video with somebody not doing stuff, I'll say something to myself like, oh man, please put your glasses on or something, you know. I've watched those guys work underneath the car, like they have a lift and stuff, and you see them underneath there and they're all looking up with a light, and nobody's got any glasses on. It's like, I don't know where you guys, maybe you washed your stuff or had somebody wash it for you, but man, here, anything you touch has got Oklahoma or Kansas dirt on the bottom of it, and you will eat it. So you better like the taste of it. Because Okay, I think I'm just about to the bottom of that because it's Oh, I didn't think it would be. No. What was that? Oh no. Something fell over, and the problem is, it had 2 oil buckets in it. I will have another big mess here in a minute. So anyway, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you from my experience what happened. Didn't. I don't wear steel-toe boots out in the garage much, but I do at work. It's a requirement. I don't mind wearing them. I've worn them most of my life for the jobs that I've done. It's kind of how it works when you're, when you know you're going to be working for the man your whole life. You just kind of, but they pay for them. They also pay for my safety glasses every year. They pay, well, tap stuff tastes like crap, in case you'd wonder. They pay for about either $500 or $550 worth of fire retardant clothes. That's kind of something new. They used to just supply them, but there was people who was going through them too much, and so they decided to not do that anymore. So now they just give you an allotment, and you go on the site, you order your own stuff. It comes in, it automatically has your name on it and the name of the company and da-da-da-da. You used to have to take it down and have it done. After you got the clothes, you had to take care of it yourself. But, I mean, the company paid for it. But boots are getting a little harder to find. One guy at work, it was 11 months to get his boots in, Ariat. I know they're a pretty popular boot. Somebody I watch on YouTube, it's not a plug for him. I mean, I don't never commented on his stuff or nothing, but some of you car guys who watch, and well, it's actually a couple of them I'm going to mention. Junkyard Digs and stuff like that. It was Old Cole the Corn Star. It's kind of fun to watch, lighthearted, and kind of cool to see what goes on a farm, because that's just not my deal. Always been fascinated with living off of land and stuff. That's just probably never going to happen. But one thing you want to make sure is you don't want to hit bottom here and keep going where you strip your threads out you just put in. This thing's going fine. Alright, before I go any further, let's read what it says. Thread depth tells you right there on that. Okay, 5/8. Okay, here it is. Loosen the thumb screw, replace da-da-da. Thread the hole about 1.5 inches down. Then you can remove the jig. I lost my wrench. 1.5 inches down, huh? Well, I may have gone a little further than that. Way to go, reading all the instructions there, eh? If it makes any difference. Yeah, I went, okay, right there is where it starts. I went down that far, so yeah, I went quite a bit further than I needed to. And another reason why you need to read the instructions and not be an idiot instead of talk. Maybe you ought to pay attention to what you're doing. No, I went, well, turn around where I can read it. Oh, I went 2 1/8. So, too far. Okay, before I move that, I'm going to put these threads off here. Put this one away. No. No. is I can remove it now. It says thread the hole about 1.5 inches. Oops. You can remove the jig. This will make it easier to clean up the chips and the remainder of the hole. You should back out the tap often, blow the chips out, da 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 da. So then use the 4-flute bottom tap is only used to form the last couple of threads. Oops. Due to the taper. It's not designed to do heavy cutting. This allows you to insert. This allows the insert to be installed about 1/4 inch deeper. Be careful not to over tighten or break the bottom of the tap. Da, 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 da. Blow all the chips out. Anyway, we'll get into that in a minute. Right now, let's get this off. Because it says I can. Mind you, I used an old head bolt to hold this down because it's not, you're not torquing it or anything. I will have to look to make sure I have no aluminum anywhere. This is the four flute instead of the 3. This is just to make sure that there's not a taper, you know, all the way down or whatever. That's kind of what it's saying. Getting it started is a little different because you don't have a lineup tool, so don't get carried away. Now, mind you, it's not supposed to cut a lot of threads, but it's actually not designed to cut threads, and it doesn't like to be at a funny angles. Again, don't get carried away. You can feel it start to bind. Don't take much pressure to fix it. Which I went plenty far enough down, so oops. Read the instructions, guys. Don't do like me. Hack. Yeah, this wasn't any fun. Said I may do that back hole too. I'll probably do it off camera because that seems to be the ones that are the problems. I didn't feel a problem with it, but now I've loosened it up again, so you don't know. Hey, it did cut a little, so you know. Alright, this is important. Now, noise! Alright. Now, the biggest thing is I don't want garbage down in anywhere else, so make sure everything is covered. Ah. Alright. That stuff stinks. Now mind you, everything's going to be covered with aluminum shavings now. So. Good grief. Now the Loctite's probably not going to like that. Oh man. Good grief. I got to walk away for a minute. It's probably not going to like that that oil in there. So I'm going to have to probably spray that out a bit. First I got to find, I think I've got several cans. I just have to find them. What to do with them? Brake cleaner. Aha! No, it's not brake cleaner. That's Freon. Uh-oh. I never thought I'd run out of brake cleaner. But I have. So let me go find some brake cleaner. I'll bring you back here in a minute. Alright, back again. We get brake cleaner this time. think that stuff tastes bad. Wait till this comes out. I'll do it a couple of times just to make sure. Ah! Got it all over me. Alright. Threads are clean. My goodness. This stuff's smooth. Tastes good. Covered with aluminum too. Alright. Instructions that I keep neglecting. I don't think I need Tap Magic anymore. Blow all the chips out of the hole. Wow. Clean the thread hole. Contact cleaner or brake cleaner. Hey, I actually used the right stuff. Didn't need to read it. Check insert depth, installing, using the T tool, shape, kit prior to adding the thread lock. Well, that makes sense. Measure the top of the deck surface down to the top of the inserts, figure 4. Ensure that the top of the insert can be installed to the correct depth as listed below. Remove the insert. Add a couple drops of thread lock to the newly threaded hole approximately 1 to 3/4 inch from the deck surface. Add thread lock to the outside diameter of the insert. Do not get thread lock on the internal part of the thread. Install insert with the installation tool, making certain that the top of the insert is installed to the correct depth as shown in figure 4. Allow thread lock to set 2 to 3 hours before installing the head bolt. Alright, well I might be able to do it this afternoon then. Ensure that there's no sharp edges. Yeah, okay, we kind of got that. So, now this is showing the depth for the Cadillac engine. Let's see what it shows on this set of instructions. Drilling, tire length, the hole approximately. Okay, now this is important. What I was going was off the Cadillac. I should have been looking at this one too. Drill the hole the entire lip all the way to 2 3/4 inch, making sure. Insert to tap. The inserts to be installed 0.55 inch, which is just over ½ inch depth from the top of the surface. So yeah, this wanted you to make sure that you took that down. Now the depth of the deal was still on. The depth of the tap was still on that one. It doesn't show here, so it's all right. Once it's Loctited in, and once it grabs quite a bit of them threads, it ain't going anywhere. You know what I mean? Worst case scenario, I could always run one all the way to the bottom and get another one and grind the top of it off and make sure it's cleaned up and actually stick it in there and make a bunch of threads. I mean, it really wouldn't hurt anything, I don't suppose, but it's kind of a waste of money. All right, let's get one of them out that I had out earlier and put away. And this, as I showed you a minute ago, whoop, get here in front of the camera. You see it's got a little T cut across it, 2 notches. The other end does not. That's the end that goes down. The one that's got the notches on top stays on top, because that's how that tool works that I kept thinking was a measuring device, because I did not read. And what that does is that actually falls in that hole, and then that's actually your screwdriver or whatever you want to call it. So we want to make sure we can go ½ inch below top of just over ½ inch top of the deck. And that probably is right there. Let me see how far I can actually go. Ooh, a lot further than you think. Yeah, I can go 3/4 inch. Right there is where she hit bottom. That's pretty close to 1 inch down, I bet you. Maybe 3/4. Let's find out how much of an idiot I was. No, just over ½ inch. So actually, I did all right. And maybe it won't let you be stupid. You hear me? Yeah, don't get me wrong. I could do it anytime. Make sure that goes in and out real easy. Do not add any lubricant to this, because you just cleaned it out. You want it dry, like it said, because you need that Loctite to do its thing. So, see, this thing is this long. It's, no, where's my, got the wrong one here. says it's an inch and a half long. They make them longer than that, so if you need something longer than that, I suppose you could do it. But in this case, it really isn't going to do you any good. So I'll lock that out. That's something I just really don't use a whole lot, is Loctite. I know I should. Times I should. The top opened. Yeah. I'm gonna cut it, don't you? No, don't use this stuff often. Trying to lay that somewhere where it's going to be not functional. Got a little bit of the tip off here. Ooh, I cut way more than I probably should have. All or none. That's how I roll. Alright, so put some down a little ways. A couple drops. Not 6 gallons, stupid. Don't get it on top there either. And then put a little bit. I don't know how much to use. I'm not sure that this is one of them times that if a little bit's good, a whole lot more is better. Make sure none gets inside. That would be bad. Come on. I'm going to go 1/2 inch down. Which probably not quite. So it's almost bottomed out the 1/2 inch mark as. A little bit more. That's it, 1/2 inch. All right, for what it's worth. And there's no light over. Oh, there it is. You can see it down there. So that's it. We're going to let her sit a few hours. And I'll come back. And, well, I'll probably off camera. I may do the back one. Like I said, I may check the threads here. I'll pull that off her and take a look at it and see what they look like. And like I said, it's not a big deal to do it. It doesn't take that long. And it would be kind of a, so I don't have to do this 2 or 3 times. But I'm definitely going to have to clean some shavings up, make sure nothing got anywhere it's not supposed to. And the one head's completely on. That side went on. I mean, it's got the push rods, the rocker assembly, valve cover. I mean, actually everything is on and tight. So this side was actually ready to go. That's why I was surprised when this one gave me the problems. But, you know, that's how it works. Anyway, either way, I'll bring you back in a few hours when we are putting the head on.